Hello, you lovely festive lot, and welcome back to Who Knew, a Doctor Who podcast. I am your host, as always, Josh Carr. I didn't do a proper Christmas special this year because I've run out of time and I wanted to just eat chocolate in my pants for Christmas. So I've decided to do something in between, a little festive get together with three kings. Three kings indeed. I'm the first, which may surprise you. The second of which, it's the wonderful Jack Alexander from an awful lot of running podcast. Hi, Jack.
Hi,
you all right?
hi. Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, long-term fan, first-time caller.
Yes, it's your debut. Our third king, returning to the podcast after he has disgraced himself, frankly, on a previous episode, very early on in the run. It's the wonderful, beautiful, charming Samuel Davis.
Boo,
How are you?
Hello. I don't deserve to be booed today. I'm good.
Don't
Sorry, I'm
don't
panto
boo
mode.
the other
I'm panto
guests,
mode. It's
please.
Christmas, you know.
Oh no, it isn't.
Oh yes, it is.
So this is like a versus podcast, right? This is a one-on-one versus podcast.
Yes, it ends with a fight to the death.
Okay. I'm good. I've got a nosebleed.
Oh, good. I've already got it in.
I'm feeling merry. I'm feeling jolly. I have a tissue stuffed up one of my nostrils.
Sam's a bit poorly, but has been kind enough to still come on the podcast. And if I'm going to be completely honest with everybody listening at home, this is possibly going to be a bit of a mess, but in a fun way. Definitely in a fun way. Because we haven't really got much of a plan. It's just, let's chat about the War Games in colour. Let's chat about Joy to the World. And I've got some questions. And then the triumphant return after 2 years away of Quiz Chibnall. Well, I'm going to kick off with a question from me, and we're going to quick fire these. My first question, favourite Christmas film? Sam, you go first.
It gets harder every year. I like It Happened on Fifth Avenue, about a bunch of homeless people in the American Great Depression just living in a manor house because no one can say no. No one can stop them. That's a lovely one.
I've never heard of that. That sounds nice.
They're all Classico. It's great. It's old, real old.
Yeah.
I watched 3 different Christmas Carol adaptations this year, and I was bizarrely confused by how good the Will Ferrell Ryan Reynolds one was. So let's say that.
Is that the one that's called, is it Spirited?
Spirited, man, it's got something. And then it disappeared into the ether, and nobody ever thought about it again. It's a wonderful life. Come on, let's be real. It's a wonderful life.
Again, I've not seen it.
Ooh.
I say that I'm going to watch it every year, and then I just think, is this going to be too sad? And then I just never get round to it. And as soon I can't watch any Christmas films as soon as Christmas Day is over. Christmas films are dead to me until the next year.
Josh, you simply must have your heart restored by the power of the human spirit.
He says that, and what he recommended to me a couple of years ago. He said, "Oh, don't watch Muppet Christmas Carol. It's not that good. Watch the Muppet version of
It's a Wonderful Life."
It's a Wonderful Life. Yes.
Oh, but that's
and
good.
It's harrowing because Kermit's there and they play it so earnestly, and I was just sat there, just
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
genuinely.
Jack is referring to the movie where God is watching Kermit from heaven, and he sat on a bench about considering to jump off, but considering whether he should kill himself or not.
Wow.
And so God takes him to an alternate timeline where he doesn't exist, where Streeter is a go-go dancer, Fozzie is homeless and mentally insane. The Twin Towers are still standing.
Oh, right.
So that's
Yep,
exciting.
yep.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a real whole thing.
It was all Kermit's fault. The only adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life I've seen is the Basil Brush Show Christmas special, It's a Wonderful Brush, which is one of Jess's favourite Christmas films. Well, it's not really a film, it's a half an hour TV episode off CBBC from 20 years ago. But yeah, and it's the plot of It's a Wonderful Life, but with Basil Brush, and he can't boom anymore. And I wept.
And good on,
yeah.
good on him.
Yeah,
And good thing, really.
yeah.
Disgraceful they let him on our screen still.
No,
After what he did.
What he did.
stop trying to cancel Basil.
He's on the list. He's on the list.
He's
now.
not on the lists.
Basil Brush on the flight logs. This is well known. This isn't new information.
What a way to start a festive special with Kermit calls 9/11 and Basil Brush is on the flight logs. Just puppet slander. I'm going to call this episode Puppet Slander. We've got some other questions. Josh Carpenter said, which Christmas special would you recreate with The Rock playing the Doctor for our entertainment? Jack,
Fuck's sake.
you're the only person who can answer this one, I think.
Yeah, because I abstain.
I also abstain. I can't be involved in this any longer.
I don't want to be involved with this any longer, if I'm honest. So that's is it Doctor Who or any Christmas special, full stop, or
I mean, let's
keep it Doctor Who.
keep it Doctor Who. Yeah.
Whatever makes the question
okay,
faster, I think.
I don't, because what could actually be improved by putting The Rock in it other than Midnight? Let's face. No, I hate I said that. It's not even funny.
Joy to the world.
Yes, why not?
Could I make an argument for the Feast of Stephen, but the rest of Dalek's master plan stays the same?
Oh,
But the Doctor is
That'd be good because
the Doctor is just played by The Rock.
we would get it restored. That's a very clever answer because that means that we get a lost
Yeah.
episode back in the archive.
Exactly.
Or reconstructed with The Rock, whatever form that takes. So, it's worth it.
I love
Yeah.
the question's aimed at me, so I'm going to take the credit for that one, Josh. So thank you. Yes, that's pin me to that. That's what I'll go for.
Also, declare your favourite Who Christmas present you've ever received.
Ooh.
Ooh. Do you want to go first, Jack?
Yeah, Jack,
I
you
mean,
go first.
not 2005 was and I really cringe thinking about this now because like I was 14 in 2005 when Doctor Who came back, but that Christmas I had like a stack of I call like my starter pack of like just basically Dalek stories, all the ones that were on DVD at the time, and Eccleston's Sonic Screwdriver, and my mum put it as From the Doctor, so I'd probably say just for the
That's cute.
Nothing.
I
There's
don't
no
know,
cringe
I
in
don't
that
know,
story. That's the best.
It's just
No, it's
again, I was
adorable.
14, but like the idea that I'm there thinking that Christopher Eccleston's coming to my house and come down my chimney and go, oh, what's going on do then? This
Jack, I literally got a Sonic Screwdriver and Doctor Who DVDs for Christmas 2 days ago, and I'm 27, so it's absolutely socially acceptable. Don't worry. That's what I keep telling
But
myself.
were they given to you by Doctor Who?
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I got Blu-rays this year. Like I got season 2, so
We both got season 2. I'm going to watch The Chase tomorrow. I do remember getting. Obviously, Jess has got me a lot of wonderful Doctor Who stuff over the years, but if I'm going back to my childhood for a bit of nostalgia, getting the TARDIS playset, the original. I had the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, that was a biggie.
That was
wasn't
it. That was
I
great.
remember now. That was a big one.
Yeah, the little cardboard pieces were ripping already, but it was so beautiful.
Every plot line I came up with involved the hat stand because it was a little accessory. All of our answers will come from like 2005, 2006, I feel, because obviously why wouldn't it? Mine is also series 2, but not like collection. Mine would be like, when you got a series DVD box set of like the series as Christmas, that was the mother load. That's where all the commentaries were. That's where Attack of the Grask was. A friend gave me loads of the Black Archives books quite early last year. That would be Jacob from Kingsmill Irving. Black Archives are those little mini essay books on various Doctor Who stories, and they're all fantastic. So that can last me a very, very long time.
Very nice.
Thank you,
Very,
Jacob.
very nice.
Sorry, Jack.
yes, Sam.
I can't really get past the fact that I gave you a Doctor Who present this year.
Yes, you did.
I did, didn't I?
You gave me some
That's
very
strange.
nice little Target novelizations. Yes.
I thought they were Myself, I thought you would have brought them up.
Well, I lit.
Fucking hell, Jack.
Wow, I'm sorry.
For fuck's
No,
sake.
all right, you want the
Jack.
real answer? I had season 1 steelbook signed by Shooty Gatwick for Christmas. All right, there. Happy?
Okay. Yeah, I am happy. I'm
Good.
happy for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not.
I want my fucking Target books back.
You're not having them. That Warriors of the Deepest Mind.
I want Sam's Target books back. Just give them to me.
Is it too late to say the remote control Dalek?
Ah, great shout. Oh, remote control K9 is a big one for me. Next question. Time Siren Productions at timesirenprod.bsky.social. Yes, we have a question from the Star Doctor. She wishes to ask Davis why he took Mockhill with him on this podcast and not her and Moose. I don't know what any of those words mean, Sam.
And you'll never know.
This
You'll never know.
is a cunning little reference to the Doctor Who D&D podcast that Jack and I have started this year.
What a plug. There you go. Sneak that
Do
in.
you know what she was
Yeah.
doing?
Link in the
And
description.
Star is our prospective Doctor of that series. We've done 5 adventures now after being given this very, very generous gift years ago by the publishers. We've finally done something with the Dimensions and Daleks guide. And we've got lovely Robin hosting them, and they've been so fun. I've been able to derail them at every opportunity I've been given.
I can't wait. I am yet to delve into them. I need to catch up. But once I am caught up, I am awaiting my appearance as a what did I pitch to you? A Sontaran that thinks he's
Yes.
Krampus? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
An emotionally confused
Yeah.
Sontaran that lives in a small village in North Yorkshire, who has convinced himself that he's Krampus. That's my pitch for a character.
He will fit in.
I don't know. I thought you'd be really good as Confused Bystander 3. I thought you were a dead ringer for that one.
I could absolutely be confused. I'm currently a confused bystander, to be honest, to a lot of what is being referenced in this question.
Mm-hmm.
And
You are literally the third person in the school.
And another question from them as a serious question: favorite Christmas gift this year? So, Jack, you got a chance to redeem yourself by saying some Target novels.
Well, yeah, I have to say it's the Target novelization of Creature from the Pit.
Liar.
Is my
Liar.
favorite.
Liar.
Question.
Good.
Stop lying, Jack.
It's no, because you don't understand, because obviously the Target novelizations quite often expand upon the story and what have you. And Josh, you haven't really seen that scene of Tom Baker sucking off the green monster unless you've read it in the Target novel.
I need that in every format, laminated.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. I cried.
Sam, what was your favorite Christmas present that you got this year?
I've been absolutely spoiled by my partner. We haven't done a holiday in so long. So next year we are doing Ireland. We're doing Fringe Festival. So that's quite a bit of money already.
Oh, nice.
We're doing the Netherlands. We're going to Efteling, which is this beautiful fantasy theme park.
That's
I'm
very
over
cool.
the moon about that. But most of all, I've got a little Lego figure here in a smoking case, and it's of my partner. So I have a little Lego Erin now, and it's wonderful.
That's very
This
cute.
is my favourite thing. I have a little Erin with me at all times, except for Joy to the World by Stephen Moffat.
Oh,
Yeah. Should we get onto that? Actually,
Can
no.
do.
Let's do war games first. Well, I mean, before we do have one question which I think may set up the tone for the rest of the podcast, which is from Jacob, who was mentioned earlier at Kingsmill Irving.
Interesting.
The question is going to ruin the festive fun and ask if there's any hope.
Oh no, yeah, no,
no, there's no hope.
No, not at all.
no. We're packed up. We're packed up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the war games in colour. I I was quite excited for this.
Oh no, I watched the black and white version.
I read the novelization. Yeah.
Sorry, Jack, can you mute your mic for the next 20 minutes? We've got to mute Jack. He's putting me off.
Sorry.
I've got a question for Jack, if I may.
Oh, just ask you. Yeah, ask your questions away, Sam. You can, if you want to take the reins of the podcast.
He does this.
Fine,
He derails podcasts all the time. He does.
It's just a little question.
No, I absolutely fine with him derailing this because it's not on the rails in the first place. So,
Did you get sad when the Christmas goblins weren't in this Christmas special?
There's a joke there I was going to make, but I'm not going to do it now. But no, I was slightly.
I just want earnest. I just want the truth on this
earnestly,
podcast.
no,
That's why I run this podcast.
Personally, I would have loved more of the goblins. Yeah, sure. I would have loved them more.
do you want
But,
like how Chibnall did a Dalek trilogy? Do you want like a Goblin trilogy at Christmas? Because I think over 3 Christmases, just the goblins doing Goblins in a Time Hotel. That would be fun.
I got confused when they weren't in Space Babies, really.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I watched
I did feel
the War Games
there
in
was-
colour, and I thought they were going to pop up at some point. I'm quite disappointed that they didn't.
That is the thing. That the war chief is actually Janice Goblin. So
Cease your time experiments, Doctor.
Did you not hear the Goblin song blaring out every time we saw the War Chief?
yeah,
Just behind
I
him.
thought that was a strange creative choice.
Yeah.
I did.
Because
I
they're
did.
trying to canonise that long-standing theory of the War Chief is Janice Goblin.
It's funny that we bring up Janice Goblin.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Considering.
Oh, God,
Okay,
yes.
on to the War Games in colour. It
Moving
has
on.
to be said. It has to be said. I am currently blocked by some of the people who did this fun little fan project.
Sam, does that not apply to every project?
No. I'd like to apologise in advance that it's me on this episode.
No, it's
But
fine.
I did quite like it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that you particularly are not a big fan of the original. Is that fair? Is that safe to say?
I grew up with it. I did have it on VHS, but
Well, yeah, I know, but we grew up with Jimmy Savile in mainstream media, but I'm not a big fan of him. So that doesn't mean anything, Sam.
Wow. Oh, starting off. All right.
We're
In
25
the name of
minutes
balance.
in, and we've mentioned 9/11, the Epstein flight logs, and Jimmy Savile. So
I think it's fine for this podcast to be a bit loose than normal because maybe we've been given so much in the way of Doctor Who offerings this year. We're stuffed from Christmas dinner. We've had Boxing dinner. We've had time to digest it all.
everyone's a bit loose after Christmas.
Woohoo! War Games is a lot of fun, and I say that as someone who really loves fan edits. I think they're a great fan activity we need to do more of. We need to get more people doing them. I'm an editor myself by trade, and I'm a bit of a War Games anti, so I thought I might be the right pick for this podcast episode.
You are. You're in the right place.
I think it's a massive improvement.
Well, that's fine. That's okay. I mean, Jack, firstly, are you a fan of the original?
I do like it, but I am very much of the it is far too long sort of camp in terms of like in the way I gauge Classic Who now is that I watch it and I think, would I be nipping into the bar for a couple hours at the BFI if this was on? And like
Many such
yeah,
cases.
and it's like, so in my head it is far too long. I think they did a good job cutting it down.
That would basically be moving into the BFI for a weekend to watch the War Games. I don't think I could.
Pretty
hack that.
much, yeah.
I'm not sure how I would feel if I was a kid in the 60s and this was a third of my year on this one
Yeah,
series.
it's a long time,
That's-
really, isn't it?
Where a lot of the episodes do seem to be interchangeable. I have no problem with long formats for Doctor Who. I like a long story. The problem with War Games and lots of Classic Who in my head is the story loop. There's lots of narrative dead ends, and so it's perfect pickings for a fan cut where you can just cut to the story and give it the tempo that it requires.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
might be sacrilege, but
it's a massive job. It's a massive edit job because it's like you said, like in terms of like the length of time that this was on screens, It's like nearly as long as the whole Ninth Doctor era in terms of like how long this one story is, and trying to cut that down to how long is this? 85 minutes? 90 minutes? What is it? I can't remember how long it is.
I believe it's 300 minutes to 90
to
or
90,
so.
yeah.
I do
So
feel
you're cutting like
it's
a
quite
third,
a task,
2/3
yeah.
of it, really. And I mean, I think narratively, I think it still works, because I'm not one of these people who has like a massive. I don't remember every single aspect of every classic Who story, just because I've only watched them once and sometimes maybe twice. And the War Games I've watched a couple of times, and I did watch it earlier this year, but I don't remember every, like when people are like, oh, but the scene where Sergeant Clifford picks up the phone for 2 seconds has been cut. And I didn't notice. And that's sort of how I was with a lot of the stuff and a lot of the Daleks colorization as well. It's like,
But Josh, the shooting scripts, the stage plans, the set plans, Josh.
exactly. So that's the edit side of things doesn't, like the actual cutting of content doesn't bother me, as long as like narratively it still makes some sort of sense. And obviously it's going to be a different story because it's not like half a year long, but the style of the edit is a bit
Fever
I don't know
dream.
if I'm-
It's a fever
yeah
dream.
yeah I think it's definitely, in my opinion,
I thought I took LSD and then watched it, genuinely.
yeah, I think it's an improvement on the Daleks. I will say that. I think it is definitely a better
Less
edit than the
jazzy
Daleks.
saxophone montages.
Yeah.
That's a shame in my books.
I just think it's like some of the cuts are just a little bit too quick. It's not got a lot of scenes, just don't really have much room to breathe. And I was really enjoying it at first. I think it was just sort of the middle section where I was like, this just feels like a barrage. The start, I think, like sort of the first half an hour was really solid. And I think the last sort of 20 minutes was really fun. Great, like actually enjoyable fan service for the most part that was really, really cool. And I could admire the technical ability behind it. But yeah, the edit for the middle of it, I felt like there weren't many moments where the music would just stop for more than 5 seconds and just let a scene happen. And it felt like it was really trying to push sort of a new Who pace where I don't think you can really manufacture. But Jack, what did you think?
I mean, I think I want to say something to its praise first of all, but I think the actual process and the colorization of it, like it looks gorgeous.
It's
like
beautiful.
It looks beautiful, this version. Yeah, it really does. And it's lovely. It's lovely sort of seeing Pat in it. Actually, it's always wonderful watching Patrick Troughton because he's so expressive as Doctor. And I'll always, I'll never hate the animations, but because it's great to run the story again, but we miss something in those animations because they can never quite capture his actual talent as a physical performer. So it's great to see it here, even if it is sort of cut down. I have to agree with what you said there. I think it starts off very well. About an hour in, I went to go and get myself a drink and I came back in and I was completely lost. I'd literally left the room for about 20 seconds, come back in, and was like, I have no idea what's
barreling
happening.
forward so quickly.
Yeah.
Sam, what did you think of the edit?
I have to approach it as an editor rather than as a fan.
Yeah, go for it, because that's a good angle to have.
I think so much of it is probably beholden to like scene to scene continuity. Sure, you could lift this part of the story wholesale, but this character, this Civil War character who we introduced, he hangs around, he follows Jamie for the rest of the story, which means we have to do his scene, we have to introduce him, even if ideally you would have cut him out. So it's you can't completely redesign the story from scratch. There's lots of little instances like that. You were talking about the story having like a chance to breathe, and I think that's true of pretty much everything Doctor Who at the minute. I think it has been edited not just to a revival Who pace, but a Russell Davies 2 pace, quite notably.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, it's not exactly a story where a lot of character stuff is happening. It's so procedural and plotty. It's that Patrick Troughton, there's no point really slowing down with Patrick Troughton because he's not... There's lovely little flourishes in there, of course, but it's all in aid of the plot. It's to get him from A to B to C, to get him into this trench, into this base, to get him back to this base, back to the TARDIS. It's all that. So it's good that we're chopping through them a lot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because obviously as well, it's right at the end of an era. So you're not going to be introducing new character elements. You're not going to be having quiet, tender moments in terms of like getting to know Jamie, getting to know Zoe, getting to know the Second Doctor, because at this point it's a case of you're going to now not know them anymore, so we're winding it down. But that means that it's just because the original story has a lack of that, it means that it's not really left them much room. I mean, I want to say that I'm approaching this from a standpoint of my criticism is with full appreciation that it's, in my opinion, a near impossible task, and that you are trying to take something from 50, 60 years ago and apply modern techniques. And I think this is, I don't know if it's the best version of these kinds of colorizations that we're going to get. And I feel like the team are probably just going to get better and better and learn more along the way. I mean, even just in terms of the colorization, even though I thought the Daleks was really cool and very vibrant and pulpy and nice, it was like a sort of an ode to the Cushing films. I just think the colorization work on display here is unbelievable, and it's
phenomenal.
So much
improved.
Yeah. But I think again the music is really, for the most part, I love the music. I think the music really, it doesn't feel very out of place, which I felt maybe some parts did in the Daleks. It doesn't feel like modern music applied to a classic story. A lot of the music, in my opinion, felt quite natural alongside any existing music that was in there, bar a few elements, which I'm sure we'll touch upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah, there's a big one, obviously.
I can't believe they revealed the war chief as Sutak.
But I thought that was good, and I think the music itself is beautiful, and I'll probably listen to the soundtrack when it comes out and really enjoy it. And yeah, I think some scenes worked really well and some scenes worked better than the originals. Some scenes didn't work as well. I had a good time with it, and especially the last 20 minutes, I just think I was like, oh, this is really sort of everything from the trial onwards. I was like, oh, this is really, really cool getting to see this in colour and getting to see it with updated effects that just looked gorgeous. And yeah, just some of it looked like it was shot like 2 weeks ago. It was beautiful, visually very pleasing, but conceptually I still have problems. But I hope that maybe they'll just keep improving, and maybe if the last one they do is the Web Planet, then maybe they'll turn it into some kind of masterpiece.
Oh God,
no, God, please, come on, spare us.
I know, because
imagine all the bleep 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 sound design with booming dubstep music as well, like this one has. That might be a bit too much, I'm afraid.
We know that Russell likes Doctor Who to be quite loud, and I think if there's one thing that the Web Planet doesn't need, it doesn't need more volume. And how do you colorize through a Vaseline-coated lens? That's what I'm intrigued by.
I remember hearing about those last 20 minutes from Twitter, basically, and Jack especially. I believe you called it a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could see everyone going, oh, no, they didn't. I could see lots of naughty giggling and just lots of like excitement of people just throwing their hands up in the air by the end of it. And that got me so excited to watch it. I think it had pretty much fallen apart by the end. It's radically different. I see why, if you're approaching as a fan and an editor, you would want to add as many little of these like fan touches as possible. But that's definitely the stuff that I'm not as here for. I don't need the war chief to be the master. I don't need the theme to play hard. I don't need to see Capaldi and Whittaker.
Let's touch on
Yeah.
on the war chief.
The more
scenario.
colourful, the
firstly.
louder changes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a question relating to this. Multiple questions from the resident master fan, Cat Wheeler, at Wheel of Cats, has sent in 4 questions. They are, what are your thoughts on the overuse and misapplication of the new Who character theme music in the classic Who colorized stories? Jack, if your doctor came across the master, would you kick them? Asking for a friend.
Straight up.
How sad are you that the war chief died, and do you think the war chief was bullied at school? I think there may be a slight agenda at play, but we can I think maybe we can say that it may not have been the most popular choice to imply quite heavily that the war chief is the master. Where do we stand on it?
I'll jump in straight away because I was very vocal that night about it, because I'm very much one of those people that I am not a war chief truther, despite the joke I made earlier, because I feel that in a universe of characters, why make 2 that maybe have a connection, but why make 2 characters the same character? Because doesn't it just make the universe inherently smaller?
Yeah, I've seen this as an argument going around, and I do like the way that it's phrased about making the universe smaller. Personally, do I really care about whether that is the master or not? Not really. I don't really have that much of a horse in the race or fight. I don't know what the phrase is. I don't have a horse in the swimming pool. But I would say
it's not that.
It's not that. It's definitely not that. I don't think the execution of it was my favourite. It just felt...
This is the blaring dubstep I was talking about.
Yeah.
Putting that over 60s footage is just awkward, is the word. It's not inappropriate. It's not factually wrong from a canon point of view. It's just a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt to me.
There's a point where you focus on a establishing shot where it keeps going because they have to wait for the master theme to end. And it's like, this is very jam-fisted, guys.
Yeah, and they did it a couple of times.
I will say, it also just means nothing. Like, it really does mean nothing. It's a theme. And it's also a theme which is used back in season 1 when it's the Sutek reveal on Legend of Ruby Sunday. So, we could sit here and we can argue canon all day, couldn't we? But let's face it, that's boring, isn't it?
You could easily do the argument that a casual watching wouldn't pick up on, wouldn't associate that as master music, so it's just intimidating villain theme. I would counter that by saying that the decisions in this colorization and Rusty Davis too, they're so fan-centric that it doesn't apply because this stuff isn't being made for newbies. Not in the slightest.
I think it's safe to say that the War Games definitely isn't something that is being pushed for new viewers, really, is it?
No.
Which is strange because in theory that's what a cut down would be for, to make it more accessible. And it's just missing that market entirely by peddling to us so hard. To me, it's I don't care about the War Chief theory. I don't feel one way or the other. I do care about the show disappearing up its own arse a bit and becoming, retroactively making the past more fanish. Yeah. Because the 80s lot and the 2000s lot had some headcanons.
I do understand how you could make the argument for it being for the newbies in a way, because if you look at the Daleks they did last year, that's very much, yes, I know an unearthly child, which we can't talk about because it doesn't exist anymore, does it, really? But
Steph Coburn is waiting outside my house just in case anybody mentions it.
But the Daleks is very much sort of like the start of the Doctor's origin as the character we know today, and I would argue that the War Games is the end of that origin story, because that's when we'd actually, we get Gallifrey, we get the Time Lords, and we get all that stuff. So I could kind of see how they would want to sort of bookend that section of Classic Who, again for newbies. But I mean, I don't really know who it's for, because I can imagine, I don't know. Let's ask Lawrence Miles what he thought of it, shall we?
Angel, may I say, I'm sorry, I may not agree with him on this instance, but I get it.
Did he write in, Josh?
He didn't.
Can we quote? Can we do a dramatic reading? of the tweets?
If you have the tweet, you can do a dramatic reading of the tweet
Please,
if you'd
Sam,
like.
I beg you.
Not me, not I.
No.
Surely, okay.
I think if you'd have done it, and I think there is a very much a middle ground here of how you could have applied that. You could have, I mean, some people are saying don't do it, which is fine. Some people are saying, oh yeah, no, it was just a bit of fun and it doesn't really matter anyway. That's fine. But I just think if you just add a little ounce of subtlety to it and don't reuse literally just sort of dragging and dropping a piece of music that is quite out of place in the rest of the soundtrack for me, that was why it stood out more than it being the master theme. I was like, well, this just doesn't feel like it meshes with the rest of the soundtrack at all. So it's just so blatantly doesn't belong there for me.
I understand why an editor would want to do that, because when you're at the helm of a fan edit, you kind of want to be as cheeky with it as possible.
Yeah, and that's...
If you've got the resources or the opening to do something crazy and fan-brained, you probably will take it because it's a fun exercise.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
this
project could have been for good, rather than bad, which is fan desires are bad.
Well, I think if you just inserted a new piece of music,
Cook uses powers for evil on this one.
if you inserted like a newer piece of music that just implied, maybe just had like a little hint of the master theme in there, of one of the master's themes, maybe because I really liked the one bit that I did like, because I was like, this could actually fit in, was when they used a little bit of the Pertwee Delgado master theme.
Yes.
I was like, if you did a little play on that, or maybe a little 4 heartbeat sort of the knock 4 times rhythm, something like that could have been, oh, that's a fun little Easter egg. And then it's sort of just open to interpretation. But I just worry that this is just sort of, oh, let's just throw everything at it. And it's great. That's fine. You can do that. And I'm sure people enjoyed it. I just thought, oh, maybe there was a more subtle way to do it where it was still fun, but just a bit less awkward, like you said. I think Sam nailed it with the word awkward. It felt awkward.
It's like the debate everyone has about the animated projects. Is this a cut down we're doing for efficiency and accessibility to get people to enjoy the serial that more as and might have enjoyed it before? Or are we going full balls to the wall eccentricity, fan eccentricity? And Daleks, I'm going to argue the Daleks in colour is fantastic. It is weird, but that's in the former camp, and this is much more for the fans anyway. Slice it.
Let's go to some other thoughts from listeners. Josh Carpenter said the War Games in colour was a mad fun watch. In similarity to the Daleks last year, I do think this one in particular they chose very effectively with their cutting down process, and the colorizations are awesome, very entertaining. So that's very positive. We do have a negative one. Cal, dear friend of the show, Cal at Not Plainly, said War Games in colour continues to be an experiment that doesn't work for me outside of the colorization. I've been saying that 62 should be colorized for a long time, but I feel like they're going about it the wrong way. I get that the BBC budget is tight, but I'd rather have black and white than these messes. So I think it is a bit of a mixed bag with people. I've seen people saying they love it. I've seen people saying they hate it. I think these colorizations, I think they're just sort of fun little side things that I don't really take. Not that I don't take them seriously, because I know that a massive amount of insane work has gone into them, and I genuinely do think the colorizations are like fucking magic. Like I watch them in the same way that I watch something like Wallace and Gromit at this Christmas and think, how the fuck did you do that? Like
Just wants to talk about Wallace.
I do
and
just
Gromit.
want to talk about Wallace. I always want to talk about Wallace and Gromit. I was watching it, I was like, this is just incredible. But yeah, I don't think it was perfectly executed. But I hope that they just keep doing these every now and then, and I'll tune in for a night. I think it's sort of always fun just to have everybody sort of gathered around the telly watching the same classic Who story in a new way. So I do quite enjoy the event of when they're on. But yeah, does anybody have any other final thoughts on the War Games in colour?
I've got quite a few.
Go.
May I speed run them?
Speed run. Yeah, you can speed run all you like.
I really liked it when you said, and I don't think we should take these projects ultra seriously. That's fine. It's a fan edit with personality, and big swings for us lot is just more fun. It's going to be more fun that way. I watch a lot of fan edits from nutters and good fans alike. Matrix editions are currently out. There's a guy doing amazing VFX work for free on all of these classic serials and putting them into feature length running times. My friend Sean has one for Flux at the minute that completely radicalizes the whole story narratively. There's Whoflix, who's a bit of a deranged right-wing nutter and has banned me from his site for complimenting his work, which is strange. But yeah, I've seen even the War Games cut down in a number of different ways, and I think this one is my favorite. Because it does take more big swings with it, but also because there's lots of clever. I think the way that they condense is quite clever sometimes. There's a fantastic bit where you're seeing the Doctor on the War Room CCTV, and it's layered into the screen, and you're seeing Troughton do stuff that would have been laboriously done in the original. I'm like, that's fantastic. You're right, they are getting better, and I think it's all the more impressive when this is a harder story to do than the Daleks. Everyone knows the parts you would cut out of the Daleks if you were to approach a fan edit. It's obvious. You cut out the giant way back to the Dalek base, the mountaineering side quest. There's a lot. It's paint by numbers. I think the War Games is a lot trickier because it's all moving parts and world map traversal. And that's why it's interesting.
Yeah,
I think Cook's done a really decent job, despite how much he likes doing crap montages. he will try and use these music beats to get a lot of action out of quite limp, awkward footage. It's like, I understand what you're doing, that you're speeding things up for time, but the music isn't matching the visuals we're seeing. You can't make something dynamic when it's shot so flatly. And wasn't ever designed for this, and that's just a limitation of what they're doing here, I think.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it can't really be fixed, can it? Because it's just you have. It's not like you can. I mean, I know that they may do new tiny little bits of footage, but you can't get Patrick Troughton and Fraser Hines back and reshoot a load of footage. So I think with what they've got, they've done a really good job of cutting it down and really trying to inject a bit of pace into some elements of it. So
there's moments, like inevitably, where Zoe will just pop up in the scene that she wasn't previously in and jump scares us. Soldiers, in the first 20 minutes, soldiers comically just appear in front of the Doctor, which is, I know how that happened, but I disagree. I think in some instances, these could have been fixed. There's lots of there are editing tricks. You can make a shot reverse shot that didn't exist before. I think loose cannon reconstructions, there's a lot of tricks to be learned from them. They do a lot of clever stuff in the presentation. There's a CG budget, which we haven't mentioned. When there's a CG budget, I think you don't have to go out on the shots. That could get you more coverage. And there's lots of little moments like that where I think very small things could have been fixed. But speed, pace is on the front of its mind very much. I mean, but then again, I thought the miniatures were CG, and then the CG were miniatures. So maybe I can't talk.
I was just about to say that one thing we've not mentioned is the model work, which is just, I mean, the people who do model work on Doctor Who, I know we see some of it in the updated CG effects in the collection sets and stuff, and they're just fucking so cool.
They're kings and queens.
Yeah, amazing. And it's I'm just in awe of it, all of it, in terms of the colorization, the scaling up of the footage, and the model work, the CG, integrating all that, and it not really that it's surprising how a lot of that didn't feel very awkward. I wasn't a massive fan of like the pictures of the doctors on the screen, but that's sort of a minor quibble for me.
I think someone in the chat, was it Ben, said that when he said, "Oh, that one's too young," they should have cut to a picture of like a glob monster. That really made me smile.
It would have been funny,
I liked that a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got issues with some of the execution, but overall, I did have a good night. I had a good time in it, and I think the regeneration scene is boss. I've seen it. Obviously, a lot of people have seen it before because it's pretty much exists almost as is because it was really good already on YouTube. And is that the confession dial? I forgot to write the name down. Who made that? Who did that?
Sorry, I thought you meant plot-wise.
Who did
I was like, I really missed something. There's shots in there from the Devious short film, I believe.
Yeah.
It's scrappy. It's a really scrappy edit, and that makes it feel more like a fan project than like a BBC pinned thing.
I have just looked it up. It was the confession dial who did it. So yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of it. So well done. I've always been a big fan of that regeneration. And they do some cracking work. Well, that was the War Games in colour. If you were a fan, if you've got any other thoughts on it, please drop them in the comments. I'd be very intrigued to hear them. And hopefully, Sam, your lovely praise of this may get you unblocked by some of the people who worked on the project.
Oh, no, that's fine. And actually, if I may double down, I think the audio job was atrocious and unforgivable and unprofessional. I think...
You've dropped that right at the end.
Your faces. Yeah, sorry. Also, by the way, I think the sound was just absolutely amateurish. You couldn't hear dialogue at basic points.
Okay.
If I was given this task at work, I would get notes back, and it makes me question, why are they not getting notes back?
Okay. There you go. You've just fully re-secured your re-blocking there, Sam. So that's
a shame.
Yeah,
that's
no,
a
it
shame.
is a shame. But yeah, no, I liked it.
Great fun, though.
I liked it. Yeah, good fun. From good fun to whatever you think of this, the next thing we're going to talk about is obviously there was a Christmas special on Christmas Day called Joy to the World, starring Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor and Nicola Coughlan as Joy for a bit.
The master of the passive-aggressive synopsis.
I
Have the radio times been on to you, Josh, about a job, about doing the synopsis for programs?
Sincere, people, please. I'm never passive aggressive. Now, does anybody want to take the floor? Sam, I know you have some complicated feelings about this one. If anyone wants to take the floor,
I don't feel qualified to talk about this one. I'm not going to take the floor. I'm going to take a big sit down because I just don't think I paid enough attention to justify a strong opinion.
This may be an
podcast.
issue because I'm not going to lie. As I admitted before we started recording, I did watch this on Christmas Day, but I because I had other things to do because it's Christmas Day, I watched it at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I was starting to fall asleep because I've been up for about 20 hours. So the ending is a little bit hazy, and I haven't revisited it yet. But
Josh, did you fall asleep during the ending?
A little bit.
Oh no!
But I do know. I know
Josh.
what happened. I know what happened.
Okay.
It was, the bit that's a bit hazy for me is just the whole bit where he's like with the Orient Express and the box and all that. I
Same here,
wasn't.
buddy. I may have been on my phone.
Okay,
It's possible.
If
See,
I'm honest,
that's your issue, Sam. Get off your phone. Come on, wake
Get
up.
off your phone,
Watch
not paying
it.
attention.
No, come on.
I'll start. If I'm going to echo sentiments that I've said previously and other people have said, I thought it was fine. I thought it was there were some really fun bits. There were some bits that I zoned out a little bit for. I did like the sort of hotel bit in the middle. I thought that was really cute, and I thought there was a lot of stuff to enjoy in there. Enjoy. I think
I just choked a bit. Sorry.
yeah, I can understand I don't know if I can understand. I feel like we were watching a little bit of some patchwork storytelling when it came to Anita and Joy, and whether there was possibly a version of this where you could sort of consolidate those characters into one, maybe. And I think they're
Seems very obvious, doesn't it?
yeah, it feels obvious, but I don't know. I mean, the writing process for this seemed a little bit strange because obviously Russell was meant to write it, and then Moffat took it on so that Russell didn't have to write. I wonder if this maybe was a bit of a hot potato, that it was like Russell wanted to write it, he had ideas that he wanted, but he didn't want to write it himself. So he gave it to Stephen, but Stephen had his own ideas, and it's all just been a bit of a mixed hodgepodge.
That's the word I was looking for when I was trying to describe it earlier. When I was thinking about it, it is a hodgepodge of ideas. I think that it's fine, and I hate to do this, Sam, but to quote one of your most recent videos, it's Christmas, and we let we let more stuff go at Christmas when it's a Doctor Who episode. We're just happy to be sat there watching it. I mean, I don't know if I was that happy watching this one, to be honest.
That comment was more about the fantasy.
I know.
The fantastical elements rather than the quality of the show.
But I do think
when it
it
comes
is
to
true,
plotting,
though. I do think it is true that at Christmas, not that I'm ever, I mean, we all know that I'm incredibly easily pleased when it comes to Doctor Who, and sort of my baseline is just, if I have a bit of a laugh with it, then I'm happy that it's still on. But I do think I didn't have massive expectations, which I think maybe helped. I do wonder if we're now living in a world where not just the fans go in expectant that everything has to be the best thing in the world, and if it's not the best thing in the world, it's the worst thing in the world, which is a bit of an annoying approach to take. But also, the promotion doesn't help. Also, because I feel like every episode of Doctor Who is hyped up to be, this is the biggest adventure the Doctor's ever had. This is the biggest thing we've ever seen. And I'm not going to say, that Russell T Davies should go on the one show and say, yeah, you could probably skip this one because it's a bit quiet. But it's sort of this catch-22 of what do you do with Doctor Who?
No. There's a T-Rex in this one.
Yeah, and it's
Marvelous.
It's sort of the mixed messaging beforehand. Like, for example, I saw a couple of videos of Russell T Davies describing this as a scary episode, and he was like, "It's scary," and I don't know. One, is that what people are after on Christmas Day? And two, was it?
Where is it?
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused. I just get a bit confused sometimes, and obviously there's the whole weird thing with the Disney marketing and them having the wrong episode title, but trying to play it off as if it means something. But I don't think it actually did mean something, unless it's something that we're yet to find out.
Disney have checked
about.
out. Boys, Disney has checked out.
Yeah,
there's nothing.
It's a bit
more to it.
confusing. Like I said, I'd like to think that I'm not a toxically positive person, but I am genuinely just a bit of a clapping seal when it comes to Doctor Who, and a lot of the time I just go,
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair for you to say. My approach to Christmas specials is I approach it like any other episode. I'm hoping to see something new, and I don't think you're in the wrong for quite rightly saying I didn't get that this year.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything massively new there. But again, I don't necessarily always need to see something entirely new. I don't think,
Okay.
And I think we're at a point with Doctor Who where 60 years in, I think sometimes you're going to retread a bit of old ground here and there, but a lot of it felt sort of like, yeah, it's fine. I just feel like maybe, would I have had more fun if I'd have put The Runaway Bride on, or put The Christmas Invasion on, or put something else?
You may have got a more unified experience.
Yeah.
Than
So I think
one plot coming in and completely squashing the one that was already happening.
I think there were some really good moments. I think there really are. Like, I'll always stand up a punchy air when there's an F the Tories moment. Don't get me wrong, I will. But was this the moment for that?
It's got It's got one of my favourite casts of any recent Doctor Who.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's got a
I
great
can
cast.
moan about how they're used, but it's fantastic seeing everyone.
I mean, it's strange because I just feel a bit like not necessarily that I didn't enjoy it. I just don't really have much to say about it, which is hilarious coming on a podcast.
And now for our round table discussion.
It is tough. It's tough when you're doing a Doctor Who podcast and you have to acknowledge that Doctor Who, it's just another show, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah, and
Yes. Yeah, there is that element, which is a sad realization for some. For me, it's like you say, it is an uneventful watch, but I personally, I think I'm out for a bit. Next year, maybe I will watch the new writers' episodes. It doesn't come from tantrum. It just comes from feeling like I'm so boring talking about Doctor Who sometimes, and constantly saying I'm not being serviced in this way, in this way.
well, I've always said
I might
think
just have
that's
to
a
put my
healthy
money
approach.
where my
That's
mouth
always
is.
the healthier approach to take, because it's just if you're not vibing with it, like you said, it takes a lot for me to not fully vibe with Doctor Who. But if you aren't vibing with it, just it's the perfect show to not vibe with, because you can just check out for a little bit and come back and it'll be something completely different. And you'll have a new creative team and a new actors, and you'll have everything fresh in a couple of years' time. If you want to dip out for a bit, that's absolutely fine. It's not like if you check out of series 2 of The Walking Dead that you're going to come back 7 series later and think, oh, I'll give it another go, and it's probably just going to be the same thing again. Like, Doctor Who isn't really
That's exactly
like
when I did tune out of The Walking Dead.
that. Let's not get onto that. Jesus Christ.
No,
Let's not mention that
of
tweet.
course not. Of course not. It's come down to I do have to wait these guys out, and that's sad. I'm not doing it out of protest, but we know what their entourage are like. They're thrilled to see us go, I'm sure. But there's only so many times fans can lose interest in the show before it's run out of fans. If you don't like it, stop watching. All right, where are we going to end up then? Where does that thinking lead us? It's sad. But there's so much Doctor Who everywhere. You know, I'm always banging on about fan projects. I'm always banging on about the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put my money where my mouth is for a bit. See where it takes me.
That's fair. I mean, I will say something to the episode's praises. I think there are some really funny Moffatisms in there.
Absolutely, that was going to be one of my praises. Is that even though the storyline didn't particularly work for me, I just think even in his stories that I don't enjoy, there's always just great little Moffat lines in there that just scream Moffat, and I really liked some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like Shooty's great.
Oh, Shooty getting more range is more, not range per se, but more time as the Doctor.
Exactly.
Every single shot is on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a net positive objectively.
Yeah. I mean, would all three of us agree that Shooty was sort of the shining light of this episode? I would say Shooty, in my opinion, is at his best when, from experience so far, at his best when written by Moffat. I really like Moffat's words coming out of Shooty's mouth. I think he has his best line deliveries with Moffat. I think he feels confident for what is basically his first adventure without a companion. And
his probably like third adventure overall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I really love like the opening scene where he's like coming out of the TARDIS with yawning, and I just think he plays it really nicely. I think he's just really fucking charming, and like my mum has said, and I completely agree. She's just like, I could just watch him for hours. She's like, she just says there's something about him, and he just seems a bit magical, and that's all you can really hope for in a Doctor. And I think he's great, and I hope that Series 2 serves him well for this, and I hope we see more of the Shooty that we saw in this episode. Because I think he was by far and away my highlight of the story.
Yeah. I will say I was disappointed going into it with sort of how little Nicola Coughlan is in the actual episode, because
She is very little.
yeah,
She's a
she's
little
very
she's a
lady.
little
short.
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm a big fan of hers, going from Derry Girls, where she's probably one of the funniest characters in it. I've seen her.
Big Mood. Jack, if you hadn't seen Big Mood this year,
Oh,
heard
I
Big
love
Mood is
Big
great.
Mood.
That's her
Big
all-time
Mood is
role.
so fantastic, genuinely. And
and then she's getting served a third of the story here, which is a shame.
Yeah. like she's even great in Bridgerton as well, which, you know, so
Is there an argument, in my opinion, that maybe this is a slight detriment to the filming schedule? Because I wonder if maybe when they initially got Nicola Coughlan, because this was shot like nearly they were planning this like nearly 2 years ago. And, you know, that sort of, I've not seen Bridgerton, but I know that she sort of goes from a bit of a background wallflower character to becoming sort of a major player in later series. And then Derry Girls finished a couple of years ago and sort of blew up, and it's gone big in America and people are loving it. Is it a case where maybe they got her and secured her and they had this role for her, and then in the interim after they've shot and made it, she's just become basically one of the biggest stars in the world, and they've sort of accidentally underused her because they didn't know she was going to be as big as she was?
I think that's 100% it. From what little we know, it does seem that way. Because it's a boggling use of her.
It is strange, isn't it? I wonder if that is the case where it's like, whether maybe they're looking back on it now and thinking, oh my God, maybe they even, you know, I'm not here to talk about actors' contracts and stuff, but maybe they're like, oh, we
are not producers.
We got Nicola Coughlan for a bit of a bargain.
I tell myself that every day.
Yeah, maybe they're like, oh my God, we had one of the biggest stars in the world on a bit of a bargain, and we sort of pushed her to the back of an episode for a bit. Basically, I wonder if this is just seeing what happened to sort of Daniel Kaluuya and Andrew Garfield after they were in Doctor Who, but just compressed into a much shorter time so that it's happened before the episode has even come out. That's basically where I think what I think has happened.
that could be it. Yeah, I think it's I think so. But I also think that the story, in the way it's been compiled in this hodgepodge, doesn't serve her anyway, because the way it's made to look at the end of the story, it's made to look as if it's not her decision to sort of die with this star. She seems to still be possessed by what's happening there, and it's not very clear.
Being possessed for most of the runtime, and then that big leap at the end of, oh no, it's okay though, I'm going to explode. A big jump has been made because the episode hasn't been about this.
That sounds like the plot to The Power of the Doctor. I was possessed for most of the episode, and I'm going to explode at the end of it, and that's okay.
And then we have to go our ways, Anita. I mean, Ruby. I mean, Yaz. I must be alone.
Look at you, Mr. Carr, calling out our hypocrisy. Look at you. Go.
No.
Yes. Okay.
If you've watched mine and Sam's video on the 13th Doctor era where we rebuilt it, you know that I'm a Power of the Doctor truther, and I fought tooth and nail for that to be in instead of Jodie regenerates
love it
at the
pieces.
end of Nicholas
Hey,
Tesla's Night
I
of
love Power
Terror.
of the Doctor to pieces.
So,
And hey, a lot of this podcast has been disrespectful to me, Josh. My judgment is being called into question.
well, I think it's just all you deserve, Sam, in the best way. But
When did we get to do the DVD
we
collection?
don't stop it.
Are you going
You've
to
had your
throw
chance.
Are you going to throw a copy of Series 8 back at like Sam's head, like through the screen, just be like
Through
"That's
the screen,
fucking
yeah, I'm going
caretaker,
to climb
there you
out of
go."
the screen
guys are
like
so
that
mean.
cartoon
You're
in the
so
Series
mean.
2 trailer.
I was on your show as a guest, Josh, and I brought a rare piece of Doctor Who lore, the history that's never spoken about, and you throw it back in my face.
You made your bed,
I'm a laughing stock.
now
of you
lie in
guys,
it.
because I brought on the caretaker one time.
It has come up a lot on the
Had
podcast
nothing to
recently.
say about
it's
it.
quite funny that it has really become this ultimate vendetta. that I have, but I really don't mind. But I think the fact that I don't mind will upset you more, because I feel like you're quite determined to correct the record, and I don't want to give you that chance because it's funny.
Say, Josh, can you just back out for a bit? Jack, what should we put in the DVD collection?
You're not putting anything in
can't
my
be not doing
DVD
it.
collection.
It's
Stop
not
it.
allowed.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
but Jack, if
I've got the
Jack,
keys.
if you had to pick something,
What'd you do? What'd be funny? I mean, Kill the Moon would be fun.
we'll put Kill the
Yeah,
Moon.
Kill the
That
Moon.
works.
Let's do it.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. I'll sneak in.
Yeah.
I'll sneak in after hours.
Stop
Cheers.
it. Stop it. Right.
Okay.
Josh, what's the one where you the Hall of Fame where you bring out? Don't put your head on the mic. What's the one where you be like, and this is this person who we love their achievements. Their
The Corridor of
contributions to the
Fame.
day. I love the Corridor of Fame.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do the Corridor of Fame.
No, you've done the Corridor
On
of
this
Fame,
Christmas-
Sam. You've done it. Do you remember who you put in?
But Jack
I'm
hasn't.
worried that you've forgotten that
I mean,
you
technically, I have.
I did Scott Gray. No, Jack,
You did
it's your
Scott
time. It's your moment. Who would you like to anoint?
No, we're not
It's
doing
not-
this.
it's not my
we're
time.
talking. Stop. We're
technically,
trying
I
to
have
talk about
done
joy
it.
to the world.
Okay.
You know, Jack, when you
I
said before
pick,
that Sam is a serial podcast derailer.
I love the podcast. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Thank
and
you.
I love it when you do the segments.
So can we, if you're such a big fan of the podcast, Sam, can we try to save this episode?
No, of course, and that's why I'd like to anoint Nicola
Stop it,
Coughlan
we're
into the. That's my pick. That's my lot.
Okay. Well, it's not going in.
Can I put in
Ne-
Feathers
one
McGraw?
day. Stop. Feathers McGraw can go in, actually. Yeah, no, you found my
Can
weakness.
I put in Jack? Can I put Jack into the hole?
We have some thoughts from listeners. I'm going to. We'll come back to what you want to say in a bit. Okay. Just let's settle down now, children. It's Christmas. It's not meant to be this fun. We have a very long message, but you know what? It's Christmas. I'm going to read it all, but I'm just going to speed read it. Sorry, Joshua Carpenter. But Joshua Carpenter has a lot of thoughts on Joy to the World. I'm mixed. There was a lot to love from Boris Johnson bashing to the Year of the Chair, but I do also think that the episode juggles both new elements and old, tried and tested ideas. It wouldn't feel as poorly placed if it wasn't really looking forward to something new and refreshing like the middle run of season 1. Anyway, overall, I think it could have been streamlined to better emphasise what it wanted to do, but I am glad things are actually being acknowledged by the show on a personal level. While I'm not 100% sold on the execution, seeing the effects of lockdowns and losing loved ones at that time was special to me. I remember going through the same things with my mum, having 10 people at her funeral, so it's good that it's being acknowledged. I do think the raw idea of how invaluable time with friends and family are at Christmas is something beautiful to convey that has touched a lot more strongly than maybe myself. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of mixed reception, and I think there's elements that people are tending to like. I feel like a lot of people are praising the Anita stuff, which was sort of my highlight of the episode. I just thought it was fun, and I enjoyed the little year out, and I like sort of the Doctor gets stranded in a place for a year or 100 years and just has to wait. I quite like those, and I feel like it was just some rare quiet moments with the 15th Doctor that we didn't really get enough of in Series 1 for me. So I was quite happy with that.
I think Josh had a really good point about it finding a through line of you do spend what is the history of Christmas. It's making time to sit down with people. That's the core of the story. That comes through, as fragmented as it ends up being. I think more interesting things probably could have been said. It's important that Ncuti gets a Christmas of his own. He gets like a bit of normal domestic life, so that, you know, all these other doors to Christmas, he's actually got one now. That's nice. It means he can learn something at the end, I guess. But I spent the entire Nita section of the episode, which probably is the heart, wondering what the point of what the segment was. And that really took away from it, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think that
Maybe I was too in the weeds of it, but I just remember thinking, I'd like to get back to the very plotty setup you started, Mark.
Well, and I had sort of the opposite, where I was like, when we got back to the plotty setup, I was like, I was sort of enjoying the other story. So I feel like you're either in one half or the other, because it is essentially two separate stories smashed together that don't really have the, like, we've seen this before where you can have, I mean, look at something like going back a bit, but like Seeds of Doom, that's essentially like two separate Doctor Who stories that thread together really well and they lean into each other. But I just don't think those threads were tight enough, and it felt jarring to go from the first part of one story, then an entirely separate story, and then go back to that original story, and you've already, I don't have the connection that's required, and there wasn't enough of a through line to the other section of the story. It just felt like they sort of wanted to do two Christmas specials at once, and I wish they'd have just stuck with one. That would be my main takeaway.
There's a bit of thematic linking for sure.
Yeah, there's elements there. But
when the moral is something as simple and basic as spend time with people at Christmas, I don't think it's worth sabotaging the episode over. It's not quite interesting enough. And by the time you're done with the year out, by the time you return to the hotel plot, there's only about 20 minutes left. Which is weird, I think.
Exactly, it is strange.
It's trying something new, I guess.
I do think there is an argument to be had where it should have been either all the time hotel, or either, the time hotel be the setup, and then the episode itself be the year that the Doctor spends there. Because you could have brought the through line with that as well. But it just leaves us with this very much hodgepodge of an episode where these brilliant moments, brilliant jokes here and there, some great performances, but I think just not a lot of meat in this sandwich, really.
It's another one where the episode airs and all of my friends are like headcanons and readings about like, oh, this is what the time hotel means. They're more interesting than what the episode offers. I'm worried we've got that again.
Because
it's
get
a fantastic.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, right. Great premise, great setting. You could say so much about the spirit of Christmas and what its legacy is and what it's been turned into. There's some people even saying that Villain Guard win because all of Christianity does go on to fuel all of these wars. And I'm like, that's something mega, but it's not there. It's not on the screen. It's not on the finished thing.
Yeah. Unless it's something that's revisited, if it's something that comes back, that we come back to, and it's like maybe some sort of a long game situation where maybe there's an episode in series 2 that comes back, and maybe
People are saying this, Josh.
Yeah, that could be good. But then again, are we just inventing theories that may make this story a little bit better?
Like
for
we
ourselves
did in the Chibnall years,
yeah,
that never came to fruition. That's fine. Yeah, no, probably. But people are doing that right now. People are starting to think, why did Moffat have to have knowledge of next year's finale for this? I think something maybe does come back from this later, and people are saying it's Anita.
Yeah, well, people are saying Anita could be Mrs. Flood, which because Anita Dobson plays Mrs. Flood, and more wordplay villains.
I'm being polite. I don't have a horse in this race. I'm just trying to keep the podcast moving.
Yeah, no, I don't particularly either.
No.
Some more comments from listeners. Jude, friend of the show at Pig and Tea Break, said, "Great story. Anita better than Joy. Pacing was a bit off, but overall, solid 7.5 out of 10. Moff just writes 15 better. See Boom for more of this. Big up the pod." Yeah, I agree with I do just, I feel like I have my favourite writers for particular Doctors, and I feel like Moffat has settled in as sort of my favourite for 15 quite easily so far. But it's quite hard to...
Moffat in the corridor of fame. Yeah.
He's already in. He's in, Sam. You need to...
Sam Davis in the corridor of fame.
Dan Starkey put him in.
Dan Starkey put...
So you're not even a fan of the podcast. Do you listen, Sam? Come on. I mean, every week.
Not that one, clearly.
Fake fan.
Jack, can we do a vote at the end?
And then maybe like conclave, we can get me in.
You're not the Pope, Sam.
That really kills me, Josh. That hurts. to
I'm
hear.
sorry. And then final little comment was from Vincent Blonde on Instagram. Said, I really enjoyed in Joy to the World, they used the 3 places, the train, the hotel, and the mountain at the beginning and the end of the episode. That was quite a fun little resolution. Also, Joy's confession was so real and heartbreaking. Fuck the Tories. I'm sure we can all agree with that sentiment.
Amen.
The one thing that was weird for me was that 15 learned how important it is to settle down for a bit with Anita, but that was the whole point of 14. Yeah.
Time and time again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's we're in a complicated time. I've sort of ran out of things to say about Joy of the World. I probably need to rewatch it. I feel like I need to rewatch every episode like 4 times before I can really settle my thoughts on it. But I just think it was fine, and I struggled to think of anything majorly negative to say. I'm struggling to think of anything majorly positive to say. So,
You know what would have made it better? You know what would have made it better? Than Christmas goblins.
Goblins. It's
Yeah,
got to be
it's
the
Christmas
goblins.
goblins.
I think there is
Goblins.
genuinely a fun idea of, like, the Doctor's taking away the goblins' little time travel ship. So they've got to just wait it out until they get to the time hotel. And then it's just them just fucking about in hotel rooms, jumping on beds.
And they're just like bad tourists.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's fun there.
Doctor, we need help getting the gremlins under control. They're running rampant.
Yeah, go
This
on.
sounds like an episode of the D&D pod.
Moffat's a clever man, but the heart does yearn for goblins.
The heart yearns for goblins. The true spirit of Christmas. Vincent also said, very happy that the podcast is back. Lovely work, Josh. Just wanted to see that in there. Thank you, Vincent. That was very kind. Do we have anything else to say on Joy to the World?
It bounced off me a bit.
Yeah.
And this is sad because he's my favourite writer in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it. And he's on my favourite show in the country. And this decade just doesn't really seem to be for me, personally. I think if this many people are catching wind of, we've seen this story before, we've seen these scenes before, it's not just the fringe weirdos like us saying that. I think a lot of people are catching onto that and are getting a bit tired. I don't, it's weird for such a not inoffensive episode. Well, Bethlehem at the end. A non-offensive episode to garner such disengagement. There's something going on. There's something in the water, maybe. But anyone who did enjoy this, just know I am jealous.
Yeah.
I am so jealous.
I mean, I suppose I'd round off my points by saying it's an improvement on the last episode that I watched of Doctor Who from this current era, but that ain't saying much in my head. So
the morale was low in this call.
Yeah, this is quite a shame because, you know, I don't like to come on and be and do overly negative episodes. I mean, even if I'm sure you can find it, if you go back to Legend of the Sea Devils, when me and Jude covered that, we were doing some heavy lifting to keep that bouncy and happy. But I feel fine. I'm really, if I'm honest, we all know what my priorities were this Christmas. It was Wallace and Gromit. I wasn't really that, I didn't have much hype for it. So the fact that it didn't massively impress me, it didn't massively disappoint me, is just sort of as expected. It's fine. I'll just wait for another series. That's sort of where I'm at. And yeah, that's about it. Shall we move on from this?
Hang on.
come on, Gavin and Stacey, what happened on the fishing trip?
Oh wait, no. Are we doing a Gavin and Stacey side? Are we actually?
We're doing a Gavin and Stacey segment. Sam,
Yeah, go on,
you're
yeah.
our Essex correspondent.
And I'll tell you for why.
I can hear you very faintly. Is this the Wallace and Gromit theme tune? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm drinking from a Wallace and Gromit mug today. Sam, this is all very quiet. I'm going to have to bump this up in the mix.
That's
But
fine.
It's like
It's
the Wallace and
beautiful.
Gromit theme, but ASMR.
Yeah, it was quite. It was almost haunting A very beautiful
That's
way.
fine. That's fine. A Christmas haunt.
Right.
You will be visited by 3 ghosts. Jack, Josh, and Sam.
You're going to be visited by one ghost.
Whoa.
Jack and Sam, you're going to be visited by one ghost. It's a ghost from Christmas past, from 2 years ago, the first triumphant return for a very long time of Quiz Chibnall. If I found the theme tune that I used to use, you'll have just heard it. If I didn't, then that's a very awkward segue. But Quiz Chibnall's back. We're going to do a little quiz because it's Christmas, and I thought, fuck it. So I've spent most of the morning writing some fun little quiz questions, and we can do, because we've got 2 people for the first time, we could do a head-to-head. So I'm very excited for this. So the way this is going to work, Jack and Sam, I'm going to give you a category. The category may be, they're more in-depth than this, but Doctor Who episodes, right? And then what's going to happen is we're going to decide who goes first. That person will go first, and you're just going to go back and forth until one of you cannot answer and the other person gets the point. Does that make sense? It's just a game of categories,
yes.
really.
Sure.
Sam, are you okay?
Sure.
Bring on the categories.
Bring on the categories.
Bring them
Right.
on. My nose is still bleeding.
I'm going to make it bleed more.
Yes.
I'm going
No, hey.
I like
to
this.
punch you in my
Fighting
my
talk.
answers.
Now, shall we spice this up a little bit?
Always.
We're going to play for something. Sam, this is really all for your benefit, right? If you win this quiz, I will allow you one chance to change your DVD collection entry.
Yes.
The
Wonderful,
caretaker will be
wonderful.
removed, and you will have a new entry.
Okay.
Jack,
It was a misjudge. It was a misjudgment, yeah.
Jack, I don't know what to offer you if you win. Is the glory of just knowing that the caretaker will have to remain in there forever, and we're allowed to taunt Sam about it for the rest of his life? Is that prize enough for you?
Can I just give Sam the win now? Like, can I just let him because I'm fully.
Oh no! Now I'm worried.
getting
No,
that
because
taken out, you know?
Okay, hang on.
No,
I need to come up with
play the
something
win.
good
I'll play
enough
the
for
win.
Jack.
I'll play
I
the
need
win.
to come. Yeah,
It's
okay,
fine.
but I want to.
No. We'll get something good for Jack.
I'm going to say, if you win, you can select a forfeit of your choice for Sam. Is that fair?
Ooh.
Sam, are you happy with that?
Yeah, sure.
I'm unhappy with that, but let's play.
Okay. Okay, right. So it's best of 3. We've got 3 categories.
Cool.
The first category, I'm going to go through some stipulations for this, because this is, some of these could be open to interpretation. So I am willing to allow you to challenge my judgment if you can give me a good argument on your answer. Obviously, we've just had Joy to the World, which has Nicola Coughlin's Joy featured in the title. So your first category is Doctor Who episode titles with first names in them. So
Rose.
no, wait, Sam, wait. I have stipulations.
I'm calling dibs on Rose.
I mean, if Jack wins the coin toss, I need to find a coin. If Jack wins he can absolutely
coin?
now steal. Right? Yes, Sam. You've got to wait to hear these rules, but you're too excited about this prize, and you need to calm down. You're gonna ruin this for yourself, Sam.
I'm loving Quiz Christmas.
It has to be a reasonable first name. Like, if you're going to try and argue that Logopolis is a first name, then I'm not going to allow it. It has to be something that is reasonably considered a first name. If you want to argue one, you at least have to give me some examples of people that you know have that first name. Is that fair? I hope that's fair.
Well, just tell you about my friends.
Yeah, you also can't make people up.
Okay.
You don't have a friend called Traken, you know? You can have, it doesn't have to be specifically used as that name in the episode title. If it's used for another purpose, but it's still a name, you could have that as long as it's a name. And if it's got an S on the end, I'll allow it, but not words that just sound like names or are phonetically similar.
I'm excited.
So you're not allowed
I've
the
got a few.
Dominators because it's got Dom in it, and you're not allowed Robot because it sounds like Robert. So I'm not going to accept that. I have come up with what I believe to be 29 possible answers.
Ooh.
So let me see if I can find something to do a coin toss with. I have a smile pin badge. I'm going to flip this. Jack, I'm going to give you a call. I'm going to give you dibs. Do you want face side or pin
nice.
side?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Face or pin?
Face side to me, please.
Okay. It's pin side. Sam goes first.
Let's go.
So Sam, by the way, there is a rough time limit on this. I'm going to need sort of an answer within around about, I'm going to say 15 seconds, I think is fair.
Okay.
Let me just...
Rose.
Okay. That is correct.
Okay, cool.
Jack, your time starts.
Eve of the Daleks.
Correct.
The Romans.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Romans is correct.
Marco Polo.
Correct.
Rosa.
Rosa is correct.
I'm not gonna lie. that was a big swing for me.
It's been taken off the board.
I can't think. I feel terrible because I don't think of one.
This is where that expanded universe knowledge gives me power.
Use that,
that's
though?
another thing I have to specify. It's televised TV stories only.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Jack, your time is up.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We spoke over it.
I am sorry. Your time. No, I gave you much more than 15 seconds.
He gave me about 20 hours
because you went first.
Shit.
Because you went first.
That was bad.
Sam has to get one, or else if Sam doesn't get one, we'll just carry on. So Sam, your timer starts now.
Oh, it has to be Ed. How about Raven? Face the Raven.
Face the Raven
Damn.
is correct. Sam takes the point. Well done. Well
This is
done.
fun.
The other ones.
So annoyed.
The other ones.
Andrew Zatara, I
you-
can't go off that.
Yeah, you are gonna.
Oh,
you are really
Andrew
gonna kick
Zatara is
yourself.
great.
Let me go through the rest of these. The Chase.
Mhm.
Chase is a name.
Oh yeah,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
I would have probably allowed the Damons. Yeah, that's loose.
Oh, really?
Big-
Stinky.
Probably not. Genesis of the Daleks, because of Genesis Linnea, who was in Doctor Who Series 1. I would have allowed Genesis of the Daleks. Androids of Tara, as you said, Jack. Nightmare of Eden. This one got two in. The Mark of the Rani. Two names in there.
I like that one. I like
Time
that one.
Time and the Rani. Delta and the Bannerman. The Lazarus Experiment, I'd have allowed. The Poison Sky, I'd have allowed. I also would have allowed anything with angels in, so Time of Angels and Angels Take Manhattan, because I think Angel is probably a first name. Amy's Choice, Vincent and the Doctor. Christmas Carol, Wedding of River Song, Husbands of River Song, A Town Called Mercy, Bells of St. John, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, as previously mentioned.
Yeah.
And then a couple, three here that I'm surprised didn't come up. The Church on Ruby Road, The Legend of Ruby Sunday, and Joy to the World, which neither of you said. So...
Oh, see.
I did say in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
I did say that.
But that means that Sam has taken the round. Round one. Jack, you
Bang.
have to get this to prevent Sam from being able to right his wrongs. And I'm worried that he's just going to put something like Talons of Weng Chiang in instead that's just equally problematic. So we have to fix this.
There's an agenda at play here.
Right.
He's actually going to put the war games in colour.
You can pose me as the villain if you want, but I'm the underdog of this podcast, it turns out.
Okay. Your next category. Obviously, this episode, Joy to the World, gave us a new actor whose name featured in the Doctor Who title sequence for the first time. So your category is non-Doctor actors whose names appear in a Doctor Who title sequence. So it can be anyone whose name has appeared in the opening titles proper that hasn't played the Doctor, and they can't have appeared after the titles. So bear that in mind for specifically Stolen Earth and Journey's End, because a lot of those names are after the titles. So because Jack went first last round, Sam, you can take us away. So anyone who has appeared, whose name has appeared in a Doctor Who title sequence that isn't the Doctor.
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue, a Kylie Minogue one to start us off with. That was tenuous. Jack.
I'll go for an easy one to start off with. Nicola Coughlan. Yeah.
Nicola Coughlan, yeah, you're not going to make the same mistake again. Nicola Coughlan is correct. Sam, your turn.
I'm feeling pretty confident with Alex Kingston.
Alex Kingston is correct.
Michelle Ryan.
Michelle Ryan. Oh, bear with. We're going to have a... For some reason, it's not on my list. For some reason, it's not on my list.
I'm thinking.
I'm sure she is.
I'm going to kick myself.
Definitely.
I'm sure she is, but I'm going to have to do... We're going to have to do, for you football fans out there, a little bit of a VAR check.
Please don't give me yet another reason to hate Lady Christine de Souza.
Michelle Ryan, you are allowed the point. I don't know why she wasn't on my list. Oh, she fucking was on my list the whole time.
All my life.
I just found her. That was really stupid. Well, we'll just cut that entire segment out. Michelle Ryan is correct. Sam, it is your turn.
Billy Piper.
Billy Piper is correct. Jack, back to you.
Freema Agyeman.
Freema Agyeman is correct.
Catherine Tate.
Karen Gillan.
How about Jenna Coleman? Because she did play the Doctor.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to allow you Jenna Coleman. It's fine.
You fool!
Not a main Doctor
takes
actor.
Josh takes it.
Jack, your turn.
Pearl Mackie. Let's go down this train. Come on.
Tosin Cole.
Pearl Mackie is correct. Tosin Cole is correct. Straight back in there with Tosin Cole. Jack, it's you again.
Okay. Munda Gill.
Bradley Walsh.
Oh, this is a great game of tennis. Manda
Millie
Gill,
Gibson.
Bradley Walsh. Millie Gibson is correct.
Now it gets tricky.
There's still... I will say there's still some companions who've missed. Some main companions.
I'm worried that Dan isn't in the credits. Did he leave enough of an impression to be in the credits? Yeah, John Bishop.
John Bishop is correct.
Thank God, right?
Lindsay Duncan.
Oh, yes. Lindsay Duncan is correct.
Waters of Mars. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You're about halfway through the list,
Then...
so you're doing well.
Oh, wow. Okay. We've forgotten Matt Lucas.
Matt Lucas is correct.
Nice. Bernard Cribbins.
Bernard Cribbins is correct. I'm worried you might clear through this, you know.
Please don't be too sure. I'm about to take a bit of a swing. Actually, give me a second. Oh, no, I don't get a second.
Yeah, you're running out of time, Sam. Chuck it out. Chuck out that. John Barrowman is correct.
John
There it is.
Barrowman. Okay,
There it
okay.
is. Arthur Darvill. Does he ever?
Arthur Darvill is correct.
Thank God.
Sophie Aldred.
Sophie Aldred is correct.
Oh,
No.
Janet Fielding.
Janet Fielding is correct.
Sir John Hurt.
I cannot accept because he played the Doctor, Sam.
That is true.
Yeah.
But he didn't accept
But-
the name of the Doctor, and that's...
I am not taking that. But again, Sam, because you went first, I think Jack has to get one in order to win the round.
I'm very upset by
Oh.
this stipulation.
Okay. Oh God, my head's.
We've got some big names left in. If you can't get one in the next 10 seconds, Jack, I'm going to say it's back open. It's back
Put it
open
back
to Sam.
open. Go on, buddy.
Come
Put it
on,
back
I'm trying-
open. Go on.
Claire Skinner.
Oh my God, you had 1 second remaining and you have got it with Claire Skinner.
Oh,
That is the
Thank you.
equaliser. It is
Thank you, outnumbered.
all
thank you,
for Jack and Sam. Can I just run you through a couple of the names that you didn't say? Bearing in mind you did say Claire
What?
Skinner.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton is not, no.
Okay.
Um,
yeah, I would have been wrong this time.
I'll go
too.
through some of the more niche ones first. Nick Frost,
Oh yeah.
David Morrissey, and Mark
Hmm.
Gatiss. But you do also have John Sim, Elizabeth Sladen. Neither of you said. So I'm impressed that you managed to get Claire Skinner. Oh, it wasn't the name I was expecting you to pull out, Jack. If I'm honest, with
In
1
her bravest
second,
role, in her,
1 second
in her
remaining.
most famous
Yes.
role, yeah.
That was exhilarating to watch. Beautiful round.
Add Claire Skinner to the corridor of fame.
Yes,
Well-
please do.
Maybe that can be Jack's prize. Okay, this is it then. This is lined up perfectly because I only have 3 rounds, and it would have been annoying if I'd spent loads of time making a round that we never got to. Also, so 3 rounds. Third
We
round.
synchronized this ahead of
Mm,
time just
yeah.
to make you happy.
This is Jack versus Sam. It is 1-1. This point is the decider for who wins. Quiz Chibnall. Quiz Chibnall's Quizmas Quiz of 2024.
Quiz.
Quizmas Quiz.
Quiz bar.
Now, going back to the
Quiz mark.
other episode that we discussed, I am looking for Doctor Who episodes that show/feature Gallifrey. So, episodes that feature Gallifrey as a setting within the episode, or we see an extensive amount of footage, maybe through some sort of dream sequence or flashback of Gallifrey. There are 18 possible answers. Do not chastise me if this is wrong, because TARDIS Wiki wrote this list, so it is not my fault. We've been here before. So it's 1-1. I think we'll go back to Jack going first.
Cool.
Jack, there's no way we can go in chronological order. That's
I
too
know.
sad,
I
buddy.
know. You say that.
Let's keep it fun.
You say that, and I'm going to instantly use a very, very, very easy answer. And do listen.
Oh,
Listen.
we sink
Okay.
into the listen.
Listen. Nice. Sam, your turn.
I am, of course, going to go for Day of the Doctor.
Dave, the Doctor is correct.
The Deadly Assassin.
The Deadly Assassin is correct.
And who could forget Arc of Infinity?
I want to.
Arc of Infinity is correct.
5 Doctors.
The 5 Doctors is correct. This is nice. This is a good pace. Back and forth.
I think the 3 Doctors should be in there.
The 3 Doctors is in there. You are correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Invasion of Time is also in there.
The Invasion of Time is correct.
Hell Event.
Hellbent is correct.
Okay. The name of the Doctor.
The name of the Doctor is correct.
The Magician's Apprentice prequel.
Oh. Now, do we allow that? It's not on my list, but it is what I would deem to be a televised Doctor Who story. Is it on iPlayer in the list of episodes?
It is.
And that, for some reason, as I found out the other day when Jess asked me, is in there. Jack, how do you feel
You're a
about
very
that?
kind man, Josh.
Also, is it even set on Gallifrey? Because is it not set on Carn?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Is he set on Carn?
You asking me?
Well, it's your answer.
It is your answer, sir. Let's have a look.
Okay.
The Magician's Apprentice prologue.
We're all going to sit down and watch the Doctor's meditation on the pod.
Let's see where it's set, because I do not remember this.
The Timeless
at
Children.
all.
I said the
No, you
Timeless Children.
didn't. You did not say the Timeless Children.
I said
No,
the
we have to
Timeless
lock in your
Children.
answer.
Not.
Josh.
You have to lock in your answer. Its
That's
main
crazy.
setting is Carn. So, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, Jack. I feel like. Do you want to give Sam another chance?
I'll give him another.
Carn was
chance.
once a colony planet of
yeah,
Gallifrey.
but it still wasn't Gallifrey. But I'll allow you another chance, Sam. I will pity you. And allow you.
You're
going
to pity him with another chance. Okay.
I had to do a
Sam,
Google for that as well.
Yeah.
Am I taking
nice,
the
that's
Timeless Children as your answer then instead?
You probably should, because it's the only other one that I've got.
Okay, Jack. Are we
Okay.
just prolonging the inevitable here?
Ascension of the Cybermen.
Ascension of the Cybermen is
Oh.
correct. Any more, Sam? Any more?
Trial of the Time Lord. All 4 parts.
Yes, for some reason not on my list, but I will accept the Trial of a Time Lord. I don't know
Oh,
why
It's
it's
not
not.
no.
Gallifrey, though.
Wait.
I think the Matrix should count as Gallifrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on a ship.
And
We don't know where that ship is,
concur,
in fairness.
Jack? How do
mean,
you feel about this? I like
where-
how I'm basically the referee,
part of
but
it
I'm
does-
just making you decide
yeah.
everything. So.
I mean,
The Matrix is definitely Gallifrey.
I would-
Because it's not
I
all.
would-
It's not all geography.
I would
right?
agree with that. I would agree that the Matrix technically is Gallifrey.
Is on Gallifrey.
I would say that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
So we will
Yeah,
accept the
it's
trial
it's
of the
getting
Time
rough
Lord.
here, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam is scraping a barrel. I'm not sure where this barrel is because he's coming up with some
I
rogue
hate-
answers.
I hate. I'm gonna have to say this. I absolutely hate that I'm gonna have to say this. But big up Cat Wheeler. Spyfall Part 2.
Yes, Spyfall is on here. Yeah, that is correct.
How dare you invoke his name in my presence? I am You see it in the TV movie.
That is correct. You are right. You
Okay.
do. It's the right at the beginning. That first shot with the Dalek, with the Master and the Dalek is. Wait, no, you do see it. Where I don't know where you see it in the TV movie, but you do see it. It is on the list.
This is a goofy podcast.
Okay.
Can I just say we only have
Sound of
5
drums.
possible? Yes, we only have 4 possible answers remaining. Sam, do you have anything?
Yes, I do.
You do.
Time fracture.
I am not accepting time, Sam. You have been clinging on for quite a lot of this quiz, this round. I cannot accept time fracture as a televised
my
Doctor
brain
Who
back.
story.
Could you
Okay.
please?
Did you say please, or was that a different answer?
It was a beg.
It was a beg.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
begging. Yes.
Unfortunately, begging does not work. I only deal in correct answers. You have 5 seconds. Five.
Who was 5
That's-
seconds? Jack.
You.
Damn.
That was you, Sam. No, because I did not accept time fracture.
Oh.
I'm not accepting time for.
Oh, sorry, I've got another go. I didn't know I had another go. I truly don't think I have anything, but I feel like we might have said Deadly Assassin already.
Yes.
Deadly
we have.
Assassin has been said.
Then I'm out.
You are out, Sam.
Then I am out
Commiserations.
once and for all.
You have sadly lost Quiz Chibnall's Quizmas quiz, which means that Jack.
Oh, do I not have
He's the
to? Do I not
victor.
have to say a final one to lock it in?
Well, you technically you went first. If you want to say a final one to lock
Okay.
it in, you can.
Go on, Jack.
I'll
What you
say
got? What you
the
got? buddy?
last day. No, I won't really say the last day. I'll say end of time. Parts 1
You
and
can
2.
say the end of time. Yes.
Damn, did we really not say?
Well,
We
yeah,
really
and
didn't do end of
No.
time.
that is you. To be fair, between the two of you got 15 out of the 18 there, which is impressive. And the 3 that you missed are Heaven Sent because of the final scene.
Yeah.
Colony in Space, which I completely forgot that Gallifrey is in Colony in Space. Apparently,
Sure.
there's a whole thing about the Time Lords at the beginning, and as I'm sure everybody who is listening to this podcast has been screaming at the top of their lungs through this entire round, the War Games. Neither of you.
I thought that was in the premise of the question. I thought
I
that one
actually-
was baked in and already burned
if
up.
I'm honest, Sam, I made it very. I tried my best to not say the War Games so that I could still allow it as an answer. But I love that your mind went to Time Fracture first before trying that. That was, it was beautiful.
I was there, Josh.
We were all there. We were all there. And Sam, I'm very sorry to say, but that means your dream.
Not Jack.
Man.
Your dream of removing the Caretaker from the DVD collection has been crushed before your eyes, and in fact, it is now locked in forever. There are going to be no other opportunities to
Wow.
remove it or correct
Oh,
your errors.
no.
If anything, you've doubled down in such a fantastic way. Jack, you won. Congratulations. Did you win, or do you feel like everybody lost today?
Honestly, I feel like, you know how everyone goes after Sam for putting it in there? I feel like they're now going to come after me for securing its
Yeah, if
gold
anything, you are now just
plating.
you are now just as what's the word?
Culpable.
Culpable.
Yes,
Yeah.
culpable.
You are just as culpable in the selection of the Caretaker as Sam is. So if anything,
Many would say entirely culpable.
many wouldn't.
I'm an accessory to this. In no way.
You
I
are-
was out here
No.
fighting.
Mm.
I was fighting against
Yeah.
this result. I'll have you know.
You are an accessory after the fact. Jack,
Yes.
but it does mean, I mean, obviously, as we've said, there is no hope and everybody has lost, which is the true spirit of Christmas and a Christmas special, really. Jack, you have won a prize, which is you can pick a forfeit for Sam. Is there anything you would like to make him say or anything you would like to make him tweet? That could be quite funny. If Sam has to tweet.
Oh,
I've had a rough old
yeah.
week
He's
on the
gonna
Twiz,
say
in the Twitter mines.
I don't know. Maybe he should wear a dress in his next video or something. I don't know.
I'm open to that, I guess.
Okay.
I don't appear in my
I know.
videos.
Yeah, that's
you could
that's
just say
quite
it, couldn't you? You know.
it's quite a funny.
Or
concept.
maybe your next video is a Who track of the Caretaker with Josh.
Oh,
Oh, why are you
Mamma
dragging
mia.
me into this? Okay.
I love that you made the punishment rebound. That's really quite something. But it'd be me editing the thing.
Yeah,
so it is a
exactly. Yeah, 'cause
punishment.
I'm giving you
Yeah.
work.
Well, we'll see if that
Talk
ever
about the
happens.
Caretaker for 45 minutes or else.
I don't think we've ever had such a somber end to the episode in which someone has won Quiz Chibnall and is so utterly devastated by it. Probably even more so than the
Let's have a
loser.
sing-song.
Joy to the world.
May all the queen. Oh, yeah.
You know any songs?
May all the
Should-
queen to the Swedish God.
Banger.
Right. I'm going to call a halt to this shit show. Thank you to everybody for listening to Who Knew. I'm going to throw over very quickly to the victor of Quiz Chibnall's Christmas Quiz 2024, Jack Alexander, to plug away. Please, Jack, say words.
Words.
Thank you. Sam? No, Jack, tell everybody.
I hate this guy. I hate him.
Thank you, Jack, for bringing your uncle at Christmas energy.
It's so funny because you do a podcast with me and you seem to like me.
Yeah, please tell us where we can find you and what you're doing and what you're up to.
You can find me on Twitter, BlueSky, sort of everywhere. I'm Terminal Online, so you'll find me everywhere. I co-run the Doctor Who podcast and Awful I'm Running. I also now have the community show, which I do live shows for, mainly at the minute. Hopefully something else beyond that. And I also got a Fan Doctor series coming up next year because everyone does. So,
Woo!
you know.
Fan fiction.
Yeah.
The age of fanfic. Keep it coming.
Yeah, so yeah, that's fun. Yeah. So find me if you want to find me, but you might not want to after this.
No, I'm sure everybody will, and all of the links and everything will be in the description. Sam,
Josh, are you mad at me?
I'm not mad.
I am.
I adore you, Sam.
You're not mad at me.
I'm not mad at you at all.
I love you, Josh.
I love you too.
I love you, Josh, and I love you, Jack.
This is what Christmas is about. Love.
Yeah.
In all its forms. Sam, please take it away. Please plug whatever you want to do.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
Jim Cook. You can find me at the YouTube channel Davis. Type in, I guess, Broke Canon, and I shall appear. It's about this time of year I have to condense every film I saw into a big, messy video, and that'll keep me in the workhouse for a while.
Sam's stuff is great. Jack's stuff is great. It's all good. So I'm going to put it all in the description so you can find it. And also, because both of these have forgotten to plug it, they've got a D&D podcast, a Doctor Who, D&D, whatever that is. I don't know the terminology, but it sounds really good, and I'm definitely going to be listening to it imminently. It's on my list. So please go and check that out, because these two are little legends. My joy to the world and my war games. You can decide who's who. Sam's definitely the war games.
You're my little chief.
My little war chief. My little war chief and my little master. That's you. You've been listening to...
We must shut down the games.
You've been listening to whatever the fuck this has been. I believe people usually tend to refer to it as Who Knew, a Doctor Who podcast. I've been your host, Josh Carr. You can find me on Twitter and BlueSky and Instagram under Josh Ryan Carr. You can find the podcast at whoknewdwpod or Who Knew Podcast on all of those platforms. It'll be somewhere around there, but the links will be in the description. We've got, obviously the podcast is in the middle of a big sort of, well, it's not really in the middle of a big relaunch anymore. The podcast is back after a while away, but there's going to be plenty more coming in throughout the new year. Obviously, this is episode 49. I'm trying to plan something quite exciting for episode 50 of Who Knew, which will be coming at some point in the new year, and then we'll be resuming normal service. We've got an episode with Miles Taylor coming up, got an episode with Safia Ingar, Valerie D. Lockwood themselves is coming on the podcast, and I hope you all enjoy it. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you all join us in the new year. We'll be dropping new episodes fortnightly, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Jack, final words?
Death to all geese.
Lovely. Sam, final words?
Can't wait for the new episodes in the new year of Who Knew. Maybe Doctor Who, we'll see.
Thank you. That's lovely. And a joy to the world. Merry Christmas to all of you at home. I hope you had a good one. See ya.
See you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Who Knew, a Doctor Who podcast. You can find us wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Please give us a like, share, subscribe, and a review if you can. It really helps us out. Massive thanks to Oliver Chenery for the Corridor of Fame intro and the Sononauts for lending their cover of the Doctor Who theme to be the theme for the podcast. Who Knew is a New Kid Media production.